Burgami. Break the vision, building perspective, issue dissect, views, mindsets.
Those farmers, those marketers, processors and marketers still earn from agriculture, not only for themselves, but also for Nigeria.
On Burgami, the current affairs morning teaser on Vision FM 92.1, where Nigerians discuss Nigeria.
It's very sad. Even the places that have been demolished, they have been allocated to themselves. I can see crisis ahead of us.
There's something definitely wrong with our reward system, and that attracts corruption. How many Nigerians, civil servants, can today be able to put a roof over their head with the salary they are receiving?
Burgami, current, expository, daring.
Observing the trends of corruption within the National Assembly, within the executive arm of the government, at the state, at the local government, state, and the national level, whatever is determined, unless the issue of corruption is being tackled, we attaining the state of development by using a term of government as a yardstick will remain a mirage in Nigeria.
Burgami, every weekday at 8 a.m., exclusive to the vision of the nation's capital.
Welcome you back to the Burgami Summit Breakfast Show. And I'm Shalai J. I'll be with you until 9 a.m. this morning. Burgami will bring you very important topics that are very important to the national growth. And today's not going to be any different. I don't want to say today's, it's not going to be. It's definitely not going to be any different. 28 days to Christmas. One thing before we start the Burgami is that I wanted to congratulate the FCDA for the great job they're doing in trying to get our roads all fixed up. It was very jaggerish before they took it upon themselves about a couple of weeks ago to decide to have the road done. The road I'm talking about, they know. That is the road that leads to the Nigerian Police Commission. And the only thing, my only advice is that they got to be careful. In the detour on the road, more than twice now at night, I almost ran into the barriers that are used for detours. Those huge monster blocks of cement are painted in black. And then you have a situation where I think they are accented a little bit with yellow. No reflectors, no nothing, if English permits. We have to be very careful. Any person who has not taken that road since the construction of a road started may end up in some fatality. So please, to the FCDA people, whoever's actually constructing the road, they need to mark those barriers with reflectors so that we don't have catastrophe on that road. Thank you and welcome to the Burgami show. Like I said, the topics that we bring you are very significant to the national growth. Today's no different. Our topic is, should the federal government revert some of its harsh economic policies? Should the federal government revert some of its harsh economic policies? And by the time you're actually ready to call, we will open the line. It looks like we'll do that very early. But here's a background to the story. Professor Ibrahim Gambari, former chief of staff to ex-President Muhammadu Buhari, has urged the administration of President Bola Tinubu to tweak some of its policies adopted from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, popularly known as IMF. The diplomat queried the economic policies of the current administration while speaking in a program on national television. According to him, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund have consistently advocated the removal of energy subsidies and the floating of the naira, adding that the adoption of the two economic policies has plunged Nigeria into severe inflationary pressures. After his inauguration on May 2023, President Tinubu, who was the former governor of Lagos State, removed petrol subsidy and floated the naira. Petrol prices more than quadrupled, soaring from less than 200 naira per liter to over 1,100 naira in many parts of the country. The naira also took a nosedive, wobbling around 700 naira to $1 to 1,600. Food and commodity inflation have skyrocketed as Nigerians battle what can pass for the worst cost of living crisis since the country's independence over 6 decades ago. Professor Gambari insists that the Tinubu administration has been lucky because in other parts of Africa, the cost of living crisis could have triggered riots. He gave an example of Sudan, where the price of bread rose by simple 20%, and there were riots, and the governor was overthrown. But in Nigeria, he said the people always adjust, but warned that there may be a breaking point. Very interesting, much of this from Professor Gambari. But one will then carefully ask, what are your thoughts on the current state of Nigeria's economy, particularly with regards to the naira flotation and fuel subsidy removal? That has caused more catastrophe than anybody can imagine. You can barely start in a conversation these days without somebody asking you, what do you think of prices in the market? I had my own personal experience where I had, in fact, my chef to go and do some shopping. She came back with literally less than a quarter of what she used to buy. I did not explode. I simply looked at her like she was mad. What are you doing? What did you do with the money? She was literally magnanimous in her response. My look is it, oh God, I know chop the money. So the inflationary trend, the lots of hard, when you talk in terms of market forces, the hard market forces have definitely strained relationships from Oga to Madame, from Madame to the house girl, or the chef, or the caretaker. I think so. Should the federal government revert some of its harsh economic policies? The question is yours today. I will think if you have any suggestion, it's your opportunity to call and let us know whether you agree with Professor Gambari in terms of the reversal of the harsh economic policies. We've given you reasons, and many times you will see that the IMF and the World Bank have something to do with whatever the direction of the policies of most countries. But at the same time, you expect that those countries have done their homework or know exactly what it's going to take to turn their economy around. When you have a country that solely depends on diesel for energy, and you have a situation where nobody is questioning why power is still in a comatose condition after several years, after $9 billion from Obasanjo all the way down, with all the plentiful resources. We're talking about many people say whatever it is, you can almost generate your own electricity these days? Yes, you can. Availability of sunlight, the windmill, etc. So why do we still have power problem? Why is it that the federal government seems to ignore all these potentials and not skew the the country's economic policies as to encouraging alternative energy sources? Those are some of the questions that you need to deal with this morning. Should the federal government revert some of its harsh economic policies? We ask you that question. And what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the current economic, on the state of Nigeria's economy, particularly with regards to the Naira flotation and fuel subsidy removal? Very likely, before the week runs out, we'll give you an alternative number for those of you who cannot get through this one. Okay, you seem to have a first caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Shola.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Bonjour. Is it, in your case, do I say bonjour or which language are we going to use now?
You have used the one I understand. Don't use the one I don't understand. Good morning, sir. How's work?
Very well. Very well. I know who you are, but you have to tell us who's calling. All still the same.
My name is Oga Gabriel.
Yes, brother. Go right ahead, Oga.
You see, Isola, we are just talking for talking sake. But I would say, when the horse comes to carry a stick, he will jump and shout. Not that he can fly with the horse and rescue the sheep, but that he wants to hear her, that he has done something. That is what we are doing in Nigeria now. And that is why we are just talking now for the world to hear that we talk about bad governance in this country. Yes, Professor Gambari said it all, but he said something that I want us to understand very well. Not that Bola Tinubu is lucky that if it were one of these African countries, there would have been war or uprising. It is not like that. The thing is that we are in a democratic sector, and when you don't have guns, you don't have anything to use to fight for yourself. And the government is all and all. They order the police, they order the army to kill that will if people get up to protest. You understand? We cannot continue to be dying or to be killed on a daily basis because the government is not a reasoning government. Government, when you talk, government say go and kill. When I talk, government say and kill. Should we or should all of us die? So that is what people are. I'm telling you, that's what people are seeing. It's not that we are fearing or we don't have the heart to confront the government, but we cannot put law into our hands like any other small African country. We are just praying that something should happen. That is by the way. To revise some of the harsh economic policy of the government. Yes, that is what we have been crying for. At least immediately this government came into power, he promised that there will be more hard economic policy of his government. And people take his talk for granted. They take that speech for granted. They say there will be more harsh economic policy. And that is what he's doing. The first thing is to remove fuel subsidy. He removed fuel subsidy in order to pay, according to them, they say they are using the subsidy removed to pay loan that the former government has, took from the World Bank or IMF. But we are still taking loans to to pay loan? If not taking loan to pay loan, why did you remove fuel subsidy and you are still taking loan? It's like you are taking loan to pay loan. The people are suffering from the policies you have adopted, and you are still, putting more hardship on them. You see, you said if we remove a fuel subsidy, they'll use the money that will come from the fuel, to develop the country, to make life better for the citizenry. But today, we suffer more than before, more than when there is fuel subsidy. What are you doing with the subsidy you remove? Anywhere this government see that people, common man is enjoying his life a little, they put taxes, they increase the tariff, they increase the prices, they increase everything. You understand? Just to make sure that people suffer. Your policy is not people oriented. People are shouting. Yes, the government refused to listen. Even at Gambarito, I'm telling you that nothing will be done. This man will not listen to people. He will not revise some of his policies. That is why I started by saying that we are just talking for talking sake, but we are talking for the world to hear us. If not, this man will not do anything. All the policies are not people-oriented. All his policies are very hard to the people. None of them is good to the people. So I don't know what kind of government we are running in this country. I don't know what kind of policy. I don't know what kind of economic advice he has. The only people who are enjoying this government are the people in the government, the people in Adorab with him. These are only the people that are enjoying the government. There is no, economic policies that is affecting the masses positively.
Thank you.
It's a very bad policy. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Oga. The truth of the matter is that if I can refer to some of the international publications where they praise Nigerians as being some of the happiest people in the world, I think you just pointed that out. A mere increase in the price of bread by 20% caused, in fact, a major riot in Sudan. So you cannot imagine the price of bread 400%, and if I just call bread alone, before even talking about the petrol, the price also equally quadrupled. Now, Nigerians are still smiling. They are adjusting. The smile may be a little deceptive, but they are adjusting. Let's get your thoughts on some of this. How have these policies equally impacted on the livelihood of average Nigerians? That's clearly one of the things that we'd like to hear you talk about. How? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Who's calling, please?
Samuel Abu from Kogi State.
All right, Samuel from Kogi State. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Please speak on.
Yes, concerning Nigerian problem, we are challenged in many areas. Buhari has come and gone. Now, Tinubu is in power now. We are in his own administration now, so to say. So, we blame Buhari and he left. Now we continue to blame Tinubu because he said that he will continue from where Buhari stopped. He will enter the shoes of Buhari, and quite all right, he has entered his shoes, and he promised many things that let the folk breathe. We hope that when this man started his work earnestly, there will be better, something will be better in Nigeria. Immediately he came to office, he said that subsidy is gone. That we suffer, let us endure, in some few time or a short time, we begin to enjoy the suffering. About 3 months later that he announced this subsidy is gone, Yeah, they get some amount of money that they realize from that subsidy. Since that time, I think I have not heard anything from the radio again concerning what they have acquired. And the suffering is still going on. Now, NNPC, that is the mainstream of our economy, I think something is wrong there. Many things is wrong there, which we don't even understand. The crude that remains for us, there is a lot of argument that to sell it to Dangote. We don't understand quite all right. Now, they are trying to buy fuel from America to bring to Nigeria. Dangote is trying to buy this crude from America to come and refine his oil in Nigeria. So we are just confused as the federal government itself is confused. So what I want to say in the end is that there's no proper planning. They have no plan for Nigeria. So that is why we cannot find our way out. There's no plan at all. So if they implement any plans that will favor the masses, I think they have to start again from somewhere. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Samuel from Kogi State. Samuel is a regular caller. I think but what's important is that some of the points that he has raised are almost much of what everybody complains about. But my observation in all of this, whether or not we look at it from all perspectives, is that democracy is here to stay. Why did I say that? Years gone by, I think it will have taken less than what Nigerians are experiencing right now to have triggered a government takeover. And that's a fact. If you go back into history, when the people start complaining so massively, you will see that some guy in khaki, in green khaki or whatever the color, will say, my fellow Nigerians. And whatever that is the case, you know that you're about to be ruled by iron fists. So it's good to know democracy is here to stay. That no matter the pain, we shall overcome. It's never always been like this. But then you have the question where you say monies from subsidies and all that, what is actually going on? Where is the money from all the subsidy and that most people were expecting? So the question remains, if monies were realized from subsidy, where's the money? What is it being used for? Why is it that they cannot cushion some of the effects of the current policies? Those are some of the questions we're asking. We have another caller. Good morning.
Hello, Ishola.
Yes, brother.
You know that the question you have asked now.
Yeah.
You know that why these policies are so hard for Nigeria.
Yeah.
They are not Nigerian policies. They are not our economic policies. These are the policies, are the conditions that the outsiders, the outside world are giving him. The people who want to see Nigeria suffering and they will be enjoying from our suffering is what is making us to suffer today. Now, you take loans. One, you did not tell you, some bankers will tell you that if a bank gives you loan for a certain project, they will monitor that loan. They will monitor you and the project, how you use the money on that project, for that project. You understand? Then if you want to take again, they will consider from where they give you the loan and where you are on the project before they give you another one. But these people continue to say, Nigeria, come, take loan. Come, take loan. And they will not even care to see or know how this loan we took are used for. They don't care. All they wanted is to boost their own economy. We take loans, we became slaves to them. Every of their policies, the condition they give us is what we follow. And the conditions they give us will only favor them and not favoring Nigerians. You understand? So that is why we are suffering. Now, if they give loan and they don't care to know what you use this loan for, it means they just want you to be taking loan and then boost their economy. Of recent time, if somebody who say that he want to use the oil fuel subsidy removed to pay loans to better our economy, now he has taken loan about 2 times now into the government, which is too bad. Now the loan they have just taken now, we believe that because they took that loan to fund their campaign, the campaign for the second tenure. That is what they do. If not, what did they take that loan for? They say they want to see for 2024 budget or something like that. What is it? What have you even done from the budget? What have you enjoyed from the budget? Yeah. That they are taking loans to fund the budget. You understand? So this thing is another country's condition policies that we are suffering from because they want to enjoy from Nigeria. Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you very much. The question, I kind of smell some conspiratorial reasoning behind what Gabriel just said in terms of why is it that African countries have not been able to bust through and become one of the global countries, especially a country like Nigeria, where out of every four African, one is a Nigerian. It's becoming suspicious that there's an intention to tie the noose around Nigerians' neck. In this case, that is through economic policies that we render ourselves. I'm kind of smelling that. I may be wrong, but are there any benefits and drawbacks of allowing the Naira to float on the foreign exchange market? You ask yourself that. We have another caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Shola.
Yes, brother.
My name is Hamza Abdul.
Yes, Hamza. Please go ahead.
I'm calling from Area 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Having listened to wonderful contributions from the like of Gabriel.
Yes.
I want to say that Nigeria is a difficult country to govern. Yes. Somebody who campaign and contest and win elections without any fiscal policy, no direction, no master plan, and he won election to be president of this country. So that you know why America robbed their Democratic Party and voted for Trump? This man is on ground. Forget about what happened. They have a policy. America have a focus. And every president coming to us must follow that line. We don't have a master plan for this country. If we have a master plan, somebody will not wake up overnight and perhaps cancel or introduce new policies at his own will. We have law to govern this country. With all respect, having said so, we ourselves, citizens, have our own weaknesses. As you said that Africa, other countries, if a loaf of bread price rises by 20 naira, in fact, Mr. President will not see it with two eyes closed. I don't see where more than 300% increase of price of items can be obtained in a country than Nigeria. And the president will be boasting that we should wait for the better day. Where is the better day? Yes, I'm not saying that we should carry placards on the street. That will not solve the problem. Tackling the economic policy of any nation is a collective responsibility. In China, you know China were the same stage with them in the 60s and 70s. Chinese now reverted that all of us, we must boycott all the boycotting. We must eat what we produce. and we must produce what we eat. Forget about this colonized country, the Western country. We go cap and hand to beg for loans. You know, he who takes those become a slave to the donor. That's what they are doing us. Who are colonized, who are slaves, who are the raw material for their institution in those years. Today, goods, the resources we have are the raw materials for their own products. We are consuming their finished products. So who is enslaving what? Have we gotten independent? We are not yet independent. So to me, Nigerians, we are used to eating 3 square meals, heavy square meals. The white men call it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But in Nigeria, we eat all these heavy food. The breakfast is not tea and bread. Our own is pounded yam or amala. In the afternoon, it's the same thing. In the evening, the same course. We must reduce our items we consume. Let us face the reality. Don't blame the president alone. We too should blame ourselves. Cut our enjoyment. We must reduce that and commit to a direction where this country will now turn into production and exportation. We are importing all that we consume. We import everything in this country. Where is the economy? Where is the central bank policy? All their policies is fiscal policy to conserve money so that they stimulate Nigerians to death. That is why everywhere now there is never a day in Nigeria that you don't see more than 50 people dead because of hunger, not malaria anymore. So, Mr. Ishola, the government has no policy. Let them tell us the agenda. Any government coming to power should now have a direction so that it will even attract investment. People know that you have constant electricity, you have constant policy. It will attract foreign investment. But no, we are no longer in the military where you wake up from the bar and announce whatever you want. So, thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you, Hamza. I hear you when you say, tell us your agenda. Why do you say, tell us your agenda? It's simply the fact that I think Hamza brought a very good example. If you look at what brought in Trump, you will hear him in most of his campaigns ask the question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? That was when the person that he was running against, came into power. That was Joseph Biden. Of course, interestingly, he ran against Joseph Biden's deputy, who's Kamala Harris. Were you better off? Let me hear from Ibrahim Modibo. I think he might have...
Shola, good morning, my brother.
Good morning. Go right ahead.
I'm so happy with this wonderful program. You are always taking the right topics at the right time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I must commend you and the producer for a wonderful job.
Thank you, brother.
Now, I haven't stated this. Mr. Shola. You see, just like my brother Hamza Abdul has spoken, I wonder, Mr. Shola, these days I've not been hearing from Israel Ibrahim.
Yeah.
I'm very wanted. He has been leading this program. Let me contributing.
I think you must have heard me last week asking him the same questions. Israel, where have you been?
Exactly.
Don't worry, the next time you and I are going to print posters and say,
Now, having said this, Mr. Shola, you see, our major problem, just like Mr. Hamza Abdul, my brother, has stated, you see, we have leaders that either school dropouts or either have not even done WAEC or some have even forged their certificates. So we are coming into leadership without any thinking, no teaching caps. For God's sake, look, I campaigned, I was a member of the media team of Mr. President, Public Affairs, and I believe in his philosophies. Seeing what he did in Lagos, I didn't know that it was it couldn't have been replicated in Nigeria. Because, you see, the policies are all tied to taxes on taxes. And that cannot move this country forward. It can't. Look at Trump, Shola. Look at immediately when he started this campaign, he went on policies and programs. I don't like Trump. I'm telling you, I love Kamala Harris. I would have loved that win. But, you see, the American people knew what they wanted. They knew the people or the party that has programs that could be implemented to solve their problem. That's why they voted Trump. Now, coming down to Nigeria, when Mr. President got the nod of the Supreme Court, that has been declared president, after Supreme Court is only court that you just wait for. Nothing again. It's finished. He would have assembled the best brains to make sure that the policies he's going to implement will be looked at dispassionately from a viewpoint of intellectualism. But that has not been done. All he did was to come on the dial on the president said subsidy is gone. Floating of the Naira, removal of subsidy. All these policies are anti-people policies. I'm telling you, Shola, if tomorrow, this week, if we are going to have an election, believe me, I do not see how Tinubu will win the president of this country. Believe me. People are suffering. People are dying on a daily basis because of hunger, poverty, and penury in the midst of plenty. God has been magnanimous to Nigeria. These are people that he has no policies, no programs of action. There is nothing to hang on to say that, look, Mr. President has got a policy, reformative policy that will make Nigeria feel the impact of democracy. What we are suffering now, well, I don't know. We'll be reading the books, Quran or the Bible. Now, from my intellectual input into these issues, the dividing line between hell and Nigeria is just very thin. Because the way we're talking of people suffering in hell, that's how we're suffering here. This is hell in Nigeria at the moment. We should think of having a way out to make people realize that people will survive. Anyway, the president has 2 or 3 more years to contend with. If he has been able to turn around the fortune of the country, fine, but let him not be aligning to figures by this MBC and all this MBA, what, because they are just mere figures. They are mere figures. That's your imagination. They don't even do survey. What survey have they been able to do? Based on what empirical evidence is. What methodology have they been able to use to arrive at this conclusion that the economy is growing when people are suffering and dying? Mr. Shola, I thank you. Let me limit myself because of I don't want to join some people that will be talking for 10 minutes on this without allowing others to contribute. Others' contribution is very important. I thank you, my brother. God bless you. Right. God bless Nigeria. God bless Vision FM.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I think we appreciate your call any day. Yeah. The question is, I think, okay, let's follow it with another caller. Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mohammed Abdullah. I'm calling you from Masaka.
Okay, sorry, can you repeat that? I know I didn't hear it properly.
Mohammed Abdullah.
Mohammed Abdullah. Yes, please go ahead, Mohammed.
There are so many sources where government, sponsor their budgets. Number one, we talk of taxation. Number two, we also talk of debt. But the question is this: what are you actually using debt for? For instance, during Muhammad Buhari, I think last year, or let me say from Kefi, the dualization of the road from Kefi to Benue State was initially announced by former President Goodluck Jonathan. I think maybe because he didn't win the election, but their intention was to look for a counterpart fund where they can sponsor that project. So, at the end of the day, they didn't win the election, and eventually Buhari came. Now, even a dead person, if they can bring him back to life today, they will know exactly what government used the money they borrowed. Because they used that money to construct roads, from dualization of roads, from Kefi to Makot. And everybody is seeing it. Today they are mounting there. This is what we call it, toll gate. and everybody will pay and be happy with it. But the question is this: what did they do, or how did they look for the funds? They didn't collect money, and I still repeat it, Mr. Shola, they didn't collect money. The facts and figures are there. What they did was that they asked the Chinese government to sponsor this project, and the Chinese government said, "Look, yes, we can sponsor it. Give us 15% counterpart contribution." And at the end of the day, they bring up the remaining 85%, and the road is there. But this government is just borrowing money, and you are collecting money cash without any evidence of something that to show that you have collected money and do something with it. If they are serious, yes, they can collect as much as they want to collect. But let's see it. Let's see what they have done with the money. If they are really serious, they can collect more. But it should not be in this way they are collecting cash. Let them look for the money. Let the people use the money in the construction, not Nigerian government collecting cash. I think if they do that, we can agree with what they're doing. But now they are just looking for money for their own selfish interest. The same country that they doesn't have money, they increase fuel price, they floated our naira, and at the end of the day, you are buying girls for yourself, you are buying presidential jets, you are buying cars for your wife. What kind of country is that? It's very, very wrong. If government are really serious, I think they should look for better way to sponsor their budget. Yes, they can do it. Collect more money. But put it in channel the money in a productive sector where somebody can see that money. You cannot continue borrowing just like somebody who doesn't have a car because you feel you can collect salary, then you will go and mortgage your salary, collect the money, go and buy house, go and buy car, when the salary cannot even sustain you. I hope I'm making sense. So if really they want to borrow, yes, they can borrow, but they should not borrow cash. Tell the people this is the project we want to embark on. Or channel the money into agriculture, channel the money into mining, and let's see it in. Because if they put that money into agriculture or they put the money into mining, one, it will create employment. Two, it will increase productivity. So this GDP they are talking about, nobody will doubt them. But you just collect that cash and then the money just disappears into the thin air. And you expect Nigerians to keep quiet? Oh, this country is just a mess. Thank you.
Ibrahim, thank you. Please don't give up. The truth is that they say there are better days ahead. But one of the things that you raised is just a flashback, according to what my team is saying, to the Babangida's era. We're talking of Badamusi Babangida, who was then considered as a dictator, where he used to, rather than say, look, give us cash to do this, say, okay, we have petrol, we have crude. Let us look at the cost of what we are wanting from you in exchange for what needs to be done. So he gave crude. And that is how you see the Third Mainland Bridge being built. You see the International Conference Center being built. And a lot of things that actually happened during his period. Was a result of the kinds of exchanges in which he had. Development in mind, but using a different methodology to be able to get what he needs done. So, Ibrahim Abdallah, that's a strong point, but maybe this is something that this particular government needs to take one look at. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Who's calling, please?
Alhaji Isabala, calling from Maraba.
Alhaji Isabala, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, go ahead. Good morning.
I want to declare worker Ibrahim from Burgami wanted on Burgami.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not hearing from him. Thank God this was Ibrahim this last week.
Okay.
Okay, now, talking about the reverse of some of the actions by this government. It's going to be a nightmare for us as a Nigerian for now. You don't put something on nothing. you only put something on something. We have people on government who don't have ideology, who don't have the plan, and who don't care about the masses. We have the manpower, we have the money, we have all it takes to be the greatest Africa, to be the greatest continent on earth. I tell you, let me go and investigate other countries. They don't have even 1/3 of what we are having here. But look at us. And the problem is not only the government, it's from the Nigerian people, me and you and everybody. We are after ourselves. We only think of ourselves to ourselves, our own self. We don't care of what the country will look like. If everybody gives opportunity today is to enrich himself and his family and to continue in power till eternity, that is the mind of every Nigerian. Why am I saying this? We are drinking from the water. Now, look at Sani Abacha when he came to power. Sani Abacha did not travel to any country for the whole year he spent it. What he met in the foreign reserve, he doubled it times 100. Go and check the record. Today, look at Abuja, look at Nigeria. You will see the structure of people like Abacha and Babangida, and even Buhari. Their handwriting is there on the stone in Nigeria here today. The civilian government came and set all this thing up. The refinery was built by the military. Are they working now? No. A lot of money was reversed. The money Abacha put in other countries to make Nigeria greater than them was reversed back, namely Abacha loot. Those money are raw money. Where are they? What have we been able to do with this money? Nothing. Resources was removed. A lot of money has been generated from that angle. What have we done with the money? Now, compare the loan collected by Buhari and Goodluck Jonathan. It's not up to what this government has collected in 1 year. What are we talking about? And you say they should revise some policy, and the election is coming very soon. It's unrevisable. Rather, more be collected. Just because they have set our life in danger by making us over hungry, cannot buy beans. There are people that have not eaten meat for the past 2 months now. They don't even know that meat exists. Some don't even know that egg exists. Ordinary egg now is 300. Go to the Shai, they will fight for you at 500 per one. Some people don't even know egg exists now again. Talk less of rice. Rice that is common. Today, how much is the bag of rice? When the election time came now, this is what they wish to confuse the Nigerians. And the masses will take this and sell their vote and vote them, and the problem continues because they allow us to be over hungry. Once you are hungry, you are angry, you go with any opportunity. That is what they are doing. And it's very bad. How much will it take to build a refinery? Individuals build a refinery. We have to build a refinery. Just to renovate a refinery and to build a new one. What is the difference? But if you hear the money we use to renovate our refinery, we almost built a new one. Look at the road they are doing. Nigeria has the most highest expensive contract of road in the whole continent. And we have the raw material here. Those stones, the coals, they are cutting those things from this country, and yet ours is higher and expensive than other countries. Why? Nobody cares to ask. Nobody cares to answer. And nobody cares to elect anybody. But let me tell you, if the whole world will contribute the whole money they have and bring it to Nigeria today, Nigeria will not go forward until we settle one issue. Public hearing. Call everybody to order. Let's agree. Let us settle our differences. What is even the problem? What is our problem? Why are we killing each other? Why are we kidnapping each other? What do we want? How do we want this country to be? Public hearing. Let everybody come with their opinion. And make sure everybody's opinion should be counted. You cannot and will not make progress where there is no peace. With this kind of caliber of terrorists we're having, and the new ones and the old ones, and the kidnappers, and the IPO and the rest of them, you want this country to progress? We will not be wasting money on arms. And the government is not ready to listen. This is the government who said Emilio come. He came in, and we're happy, thinking it to be like Lagos. Today, we are going backward. We have gone backward more than what we had before. And they are not ready to listen. They still continue. How much are we buying fuel? We have this crude. It's our own. We have this fuel. We have McDonald's refineries around the block producing it. You will not go and legalize them. Let them pay taxes. now we can make money from there, and then employ people, you destroy the daily baby, and now we fight fuel at the rate of 1,400, 151213. Our own product is worrisome and it's painful. I want to pray and I want to beg this government to please have sympathy on this country, to reverse all the actions, all the structures that have been they should reverse them, from the fuel subsidy, from the electric subsidy, from all of them should reverse, so that we can sit as one people and discuss our differences and settle our differences and keep our differences and bring back the love we used to have before and stop all this wasting money on ammunition and bullets. For how many years? It has not worked, and we still keep on buying them. It has not worked. People that are in that post, we use this money to build estates, build houses, build luxuries, buy house in Dubai. They will finish. They will give them ambassador. No question, no accountability. And if you put me there, you want me to be good at the night. And anybody who even wants to be good at the night will not stay there. Why should our government be traveling? Why should you be listening? Why should IMF be controlling us? Why can't we produce things of our own? Thank
you, Isa. I think we got your drift. We got your drift. Thank you so much. I think you raised a lot of issues, and I'm just going to highlight some of them. You made this cynical reference to the identification of Africans as a people with great potential under their feet, but majorly feckless black people. If you want a good example, look at a country like South Africa that whites governed for quite some time before blacks came and took over. We know that there is a framework for governance. Yeah, but that's not to say that the country was almost fully captured by those organizations that know the weaknesses of the government in what you call a state capture. Nigeria, with all the refineries in the world, you can conclude is a country that looks like we hate ourselves. We hate ourselves. We love the white man. It's easier to loot and leave everything in the banks of the white man. You even have leaders, or rather, ministers and chief executives of organizations who spend 1 week in Nigeria and 3 weeks in UK, or, maybe in some of those other, but all of that is white country. Order. It doesn't matter whether you take all the money in the world. I'm just not going according to what Isa Bala was pointing out. If you give all that money to Nigeria, we will find a way to make sure Nigeria is even worse than what it is. The issue of the impunity, because no one has been able to come up with how to discipline, or how to hold accountable our professional thieves within the ranks of governance. Until we're able to do that, our judiciary is already compromised. The people who are supposed to set up the different policies for how Nigeria needs to be governed seem to be compromised. There are some people who have now said, look, we refuse to go along with the way things are done. We want proper accounting. And who are currently in the legislature, we praise them. Kudos to them, and we hope that much can be done. But you can run a list of more than 5,000 things in which we do wrong in Nigeria. And if that's the situation, how do we have to get it right? There is a need for accountability. There is a need for one arm. If it's not, we know when I have the CSOs, somebody has to be able to call the country to order. So, and until we find a way to do that, All our brothers are going to be playing big boys in UK and the US with all our stolen money. Monies that are stolen are never returned. Who was that said that Nigeria is the only place where whenever the prices go up, they never come down? Cynically, or just, they gave another example of the only thing that goes up and comes down, but it's not inflation in Nigeria. It's very interesting. Are there any benefits, one can say, if we go back to clearly what the subject matter is? Are there any benefits and drawbacks of allowing the Naira to float on the foreign exchange markets? The Naira seems to, since we have taken the dollar as own currency as opposed to the Naira, what are the benefits and drawbacks of allowing the Naira to float on the foreign exchange? For those of you who do a lot of trading, you may have an opportunity to tell us. We have less than 3 minutes for you to contribute your own thoughts to our discussion. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. They say the person has gone south. Hello, good morning.
Inshallah, I will not call again if I finish calling. You see, Hamza Abdullah say something. First of all, you see, this government did not come with any plan. There's no manifesto, no agenda, nothing, and that is why we are talking today. Yeah, but the fact is that people said, if medicine cannot cure me, let their medicine leave me at when we met my sickness. You understand? If these people have no agenda, they have no manifesto, they have no economic plan, what about continuing? He said he will continue from where Buhari stopped. And Buhari is far better than this. No wonder Buhari said he will leave this country better than we will meet. And this is what we are facing. Is this also the agenda of APC? That when Buhari goes, you come and inflict pain on people? And he also says that we should consume what we eat. How can we consume what we eat when there is insecurity? There is no enabling environment for us to produce anything. First of all, the economy is not good. It's not helping manufacturers to produce anything. The economy is not good. Because of insecurity, our farmers cannot farm for us to eat what we produce. So how can we eat what we produce when the economy is not good? There is no enabling environment to produce. So if the government, even if suppose there is no insecurity, I am telling you that inshallah that nobody will complain about hardship in the country. Yeah. If the farmers are going to their farm, if everybody is doing his own business the way he's supposed to do, nobody will complain. But they say a hungry man is an angry man. We are looking back at the government because we are not safe to go about our business. And that's why we are suffering from this hardship.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. We'd like to end the show on that note. Should the federal government revert some of its harsh economic policies. We thank all of you who called and contributed to this discussion. The program has been produced or was produced by Chinedu Echeno. And we thank all the callers from Oga Gabriel to Samuel from Kogi, Hamza Abdul. We have Ibrahim Abdallah, Ibrahim Modibo, Alhaji Isa Bala. Tomorrow is going to be another episode, and as usual, we always count on your contribution to make Nigeria right. That has been it for today's Burgami. I'm Chala J, wishing you a fantastic Tuesday. My regards to everybody. Cheers.